Okay, let's start today's session about WebLogic DevOps, where we are going to talk about virtualization with the Vagrant and shell scripting, WLSD, of what we are going to see in the WebLogic side. So, the basic things. So, in yeah. So I hope Aditya is connected now. So once I'm going to complete my theory part, I will ask Aditya to join in the lab workout. So hope you have downloaded software, Aditya. Migrant and VirtualBox. You're already there. Okay, fine. So yeah, so we are going to talk about Vagrant today, Vagrant virtualization. Vagrant is a software layer, and a Vagrant is going to have one single file configuration. So when we are going to talk to create one virtual box, Linux box, so everything in one file, that is without having extension. The file is Vagrant file. Okay, so this Vagrant file is going to tell about what we are going to use the provider and what is the provisioning. So these are the two important things will make the virtual box, and why we are going to use this Vagrant. What is the way of steps to work with the virtualization? I'll let you know. So, what is Vagrant? First of all, Vagrant is a virtualization software, and it is a process. It is a one Java process. It is going to be created in your operating system on top of your Windows machine. So, whenever you create one software, it is going to have process ID. Similarly, this one also running in your Windows machine. So, if you want to check that process, what is running, you can see in the task manager. So virtualization, when we are going to use, it is going to have the different options, and the physical setups what you are going to have, you should aware of them. So when you are saying that RAM, at least I mentioned that 8 GB RAM is minimum requirement, and number of CPUs. Storage should be enough when we are going to define how much memory is required. So network configuration, when you are going to talk, the VirtualBox is going to create a virtual network interface card. Whenever you are talking one computer to another computer, it is going to use an IC card connecting with the internet, that is Wi-Fi or whatever. So that connection is establishing with the NIC, network interface card. That is going to provide us the IP address, MAC address, etc. So when we are going to use this network, your laptop is one port, it is going to have one NIC card, then how it is able to connect. Then it is going to create a virtual NIC card whenever one virtual box is created. Even if you do take the VMware or Oracle VirtualBox, it will be doing the same task. Okay, so when you are creating that virtual box, there are different types of network options, adapters options. One is host only, another one is bridge network, etc. Anyway, we will see each one in detail, and where it is all, we'll see that one. So we are going to use this pattern because of effectively using the resources, system resources, to reduce the IT expenses. What is the IT expense? You are having a machine, that is the one expense. So within the same machine, you are going to create two or three, then that is the best outcome you are going to get from that. So while boosting up your efficiency, agility you want, then VirtualBox Vagrant will be the one of the best choice. So we have two different components in virtualization. Virtual machine first we are going to create, and your host machine is there. So Windows is your host machine, and on top of it, what we are going to create is a virtual machine, or we are going to also call it as a guest machine. Okay, so in guest we are going to create Linux operating system, Ubuntu Linux we are going to prefer to create. So what does this Vagrant file configuration will do? Vagrant file is one single file. So when you are going to create that virtual machine, That virtual machine, it is going to have a base box. So based on that one particular operating system, different choices we are going to make, and then the operating system will be created. So whenever you take that ISO file and you install, all the options will be set of question and answers will be stored, and then it is going to be created that all things will be automatically created, readily available in your virtual boxes, Vagrant files. Okay. So the only thing what you can change, suppose you want to increase the RAM, right now it is 2 GB, you just need to change the number in the Vagrant file only. If you want to increase the number of CPUs usage, you are going to run a huge database or something like that, then you can increase the number of CPUs. So this is possible from the Vagrant file where you are going to change, and you can establish the network. As I mentioned, that there are network interfaces cards virtually created for you, where host only is one adapter, bridge is a second type of adapter. So when we are going to set this virtual box, we want to copy some files. Whenever you download the JDK, WebLogic, you want to have the access to these files, which you are downloaded in Windows machine, that should be accessible in the virtual box. So for that one, we have share folder. So if you put the share folder, you don't need to do any copy. It is automatically available in the Linux box. Okay, so that is possible with one single directive, sync folder. So sync folder is one line that will be in the Vagrant file. The next one is how you can start the Vagrant. To start the Vagrant, boot the Vagrant operating system, we are going to run with the up command, Vagrant space up we are going to use. Okay, so set the host name of the machine, that is your choice. You want to set or you don't want to set, that is all optional. And there are different provisioners we have. Okay, when you are going to create this virtual box, whenever it is coming up, booting up, you want to run some scripts. So just like you are logging into the system, some of the shell script will be executed. So this similar way, the shell script, how it is executing, the alternative ways are Chef, Puppet, Ansible, any configuration management tool can be executed. What these things will be doing. Whenever the box is coming up, it is going to check WebLogic is running or not. If it is not running, it is automatically start. So this is what task you can mention.
So it is a feature of a Vagrant.
This is a feature of provisioner. Provisioner means whenever it is booting up, it will check. So that script will do that task.
This in the Linux.
In the Linux.
In the Linux, that init.d.
Init.d is for booting process. Yes. So in the booting process, if you put the service, Ansible service, or if you put the shell script, it will do that task.
Okay, Ansible will do that.
Yeah. Even you can put the shell script, that is also do that check. So WebLogic is running or not. You want to check, and if it is not running, you run. Or if Node Manager is running or not, you start the Node Manager. These are the basic things which we can get as a feature, as a provisioner option. So how this works, the provisioner and your providers. So if you look at this, the base box, as I mentioned, whenever you create the Vagrant and you add the box to your machine, laptop, first time it is going to download from the internet, the base box will be coming to your machine. After that, how many virtual boxes you want to create, that is your choice, n number of boxes you can create. So to create that one, we should have a provider. Okay, the Vagrant file will be telling that what provider you want to use. Okay, so I am going to use VirtualBox. You can use VMware, we can use Parallels, other options also there. And provisioners, we have shell script, Puppet, Chef, Ansible. These are the different provisioners. These are the just scripts that will be checking for you. So the provisioners, whenever you are going to use Vagrant, it is going to be shipped from internet. The box will be coming to your laptop. The virtual box is a commonly used hypervisor. Other different operating systems are using. If you are going to use a Mac system, then it is different. Windows system hypervisor we are going to use. In containerization, Docker, and if you go for the bigger, huge level of this virtualization, then we have bare metal cloud, etc. Okay, Amazon Cloud or DigitalOcean, there also you can create the virtual boxes and you can spin up the machines, multiple machines. So the basic thing is Vagrant file is Vagrant engine will be running, that is based on the Ruby. So Ruby is a basic programming language used in the Vagrant file. Okay. So VirtualBox we are going to use. Other options are VMware, Docker, Hyper-V, and you can customize a combination of multiple things in the same. You can start one Vagrant file you can define in that one, 2 3 machines also you can define, and so that one Vagrant app will bring up all the 3 machines, 3 Linux boxes start or 4. That depends on your machine capabilities. So what Vagrant is going to do? What are the different commands we are going to use? How the life cycle will work? So Vagrant life cycle, Vagrant up is a command that will boots up the machine, and then Vagrant, whenever you are going to develop, why it is used, where it is used. Whenever a developer is using this, one WebLogic container should be there. WebLogic server is running. They will do all the tasks that will be packed, and again it can be delivered to any testing environment or other person who is working with the same kind of changes. So what I have changed, the same changes will be available with the another machine. That is a possible solution given by this Vagrant. So whenever you are running a Vagrant, you can easily do SSH, just like any other remote machines. We are going to connect with a PuTTY SSH. In Mac systems, you can just use Vagrant SSH so that connect to the VirtualBox. Halt, that will stop your Vagrant Linux, Vagrant VirtualBox. And destroy, you are not going to use further, then you can remove that one from your machine. Destroy is a command to remove that one. If you are corrupted, something changes, then you can delete that VirtualBox by destroy command. Suspend, resume, these are the 2 commands which will temporarily stop, temporarily unavailable, and you can bring them back, just like our WebLogic server will do suspend and resume. So you can pack, as I mentioned, you can distribute to any other user. New developer is coming and already existing developer having the code. Same code should be available for the other guy. Then you can just copy that box and put into the other developer's machine. So that is a concept there. So Vagrant setup, how we are going to do? We need to create base class first, and you must have a VirtualBox installed. You must have a Vagrant installed. Then you can do the rest of the things. So Aditya, are you ready for your system to share?
Yeah, one minute. So actually, for this VM, a virtual machine, virtual box, which virtual box I should be downloading, I was not sure. Linux or Windows. It was not mentioned in that.
Windows, I mean.
In that particular.
Other day I have shown you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Windows.
So I have the Windows. It is the older one. So I didn't download it.
Okay, let me make you presenter and see what you are having there.
Sure.
Hi Melvin.
If anybody else has done it.
Aditya Karwal. I make you presenter. Can you just share your screen?
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Hi Melvin.
You can ask
Hey,
anybody else also if they are or if
so
they are happy to
sorry.
volunteer if they
No
want to
problem.
be done.
That's fine. So I just given the brief idea about what is Vagrant and Vagrant file, how we are going to do. So we'll start now. It's practical thing is just now we are going to start. So Aditya, in D colon you just create one folder, separate.
I have this 4.1.0.
No, take the latest version of VirtualBox. Latest version is
Everything else I have
5,
downloaded except
5.2 is the
VirtualBox.
latest version. You take that.
Download this.
Hmm.
You have it. We have printed.
No, you can download. Okay, so what about you, Krishna? You downloaded Mohan? Anyone you already downloaded Vagrant and VirtualBox ready with your systems?
Only I was not sure about this one. Wish to know.
Yeah,
Forgot.
the
Which one?
latest date you can see at the bottom, right? So
520. I clicked on that.
5.2. Yeah, click that one.
I clicked on it and there are a lot of options here.
Yeah,
Which one you got?
which one we are going to
This
install?
one?
Windows, right? WinEx, yeah.
Okay, it's very small.
Yeah, very small.
Okay. Except
Okay, what
backend.
about VirtualBox? VirtualBox is also the old version.
VirtualBox, which one you're saying?
Okay,
VirtualBox I'm downloading
VirtualBox.
now.
This one is VirtualBox, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What about Vagrant?
Vagrant I have new one. Yesterday I just downloaded this one.
Okay. Installed. Vagrant installed.
So install anyway I'm good.
Yeah. So hope you guys also do the installation part of your Vagrant on your missions.
So in our real life scenario, will these things will be done by sysadmin team or some other team, this backend and all? We'll be only doing it.
Vagrant thing we will be doing.
But we have to mainly focus on the other sides.
Yeah, better you always focus on whatever you are learning towards administration task that will be more operation related. So you never think that this is not my job. In DevOps, that is what the culture. So DevOps culture is that you always ready to do anything. It is not development, it is not installation, not configuration, everything you have to do.
Okay.
So DevOps culture is that. Previously it is different. Development is separate, administration is different, operations is different.
So in DevOps, if we are DevOps, they will just give us one bare device, or suppose
Yeah.
Windows server or Linux server.
Mhm.
Then we need to set up all these things and we need to create our environment.
Completely a fresh box is given to you, then you have to start working on it and then bring up all the application ready and
We need to configure it.
Yes.
So system administrator job totally.
Yes. And DevOps need more related to Linux commands and more related to scripting operations, programming skills also come into
Everything
this.
only is coming.
Everything comes into this.
So many jobs will be going then.
Yeah.
DevOps is coming. If he is doing everything.
True. I think Vagrant done. Yeah.
You must start it.
You must
later.
Yeah, you can do it later. About VirtualBox. Yeah. Can you run it? On the same browser, you can just go to the link, right?
This is a download.
Hmm.
So are you recording?
Good question. Yeah, it's going on. Should ask in the first minute itself.
I thought just
Yeah, doing the recording. Go ahead next. Yeah, you can go ahead and use the C programs. Not no
I
problem.
don't want to use C. And C is not having much space.
Not much space. Okay. Then you need to add a path variable. You have to. This is what adapter it is creating, virtual adapter.
We need to choose yes.
Install it. Okay. So now we'll check that these installations are available in the command prompt. So go to CMD. Just click on this Windows button and go to the CMD.
Should I restart my computer because
It's
after
not
backend
mandatory.
it is
It's not mandatory in Windows 10. We'll see later. If it is not working, then you need to restart.
Sure.
And if there is any firewall running, then we have to stop the firewall to run this Vagrant box. Okay, first check that Vagrant command is working in the command prompt.
If someone is saying voice is breaking, sir. Krishna is saying.
Yeah, long back.
Okay.
Now type Vagrant version. Yeah. So Vagrant command is working. Similarly, you have to check the VirtualBox command, VBox manage, VBox manage version. So VirtualBox path may not be available. So what you can do, you just
environment variable. I can say
manage.
So what we typed here, Vagrant hyphen version. So we installed Vagrant in C drive, right?
Anywhere you can install, that's not a problem.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Certain
Path edit. Okay, click new and add that one. You have given D colon DevOps. D colon DevOps. And on that virtual box is there, I think. Just go into the D colon and DevOps folder. Do you see virtual box folder separately? Okay. Close the command prompt and open fresh new command prompt so that you can check that one. In Windows, always you need to take fresh command prompt. VBox manage. Enter. Yeah. Okay, that looks good. So make one folder in D colon. Go to D colon and create a separate folder. You have already DevOps, right? You can just go to the DevOps folder. Type D colon. No, no, what I'm saying, in the command prompt, you create a folder. You are already having DevOps, so
I have this window, it will be easier. So in this directory you want me to create?
So here we want to run the Vagrant. Is it going to work? This is a what is this one?
This is Ubuntu, but D DevOps is my directory. D DevOps is my directory.
Okay, fine. That will be confusing for me. So you just go to the CMD, so that's easy.
Okay.
You do it on your.
Okay. So you want me to go?
Just type D colon please in the command prompt. Then CD DevOps. Now, so here we want to create a Vagrant file. So that what we mentioned in the blog page. Okay. So take the go to the blog page and take the Vagrant file content and try to create a file. Okay. Start. Notepad is installed here. Notepad plus plus. Yeah. Notepad plus plus. Yeah, it is there. So what you can do there in the command prompt. That's fine, leave that.
Yeah.
Go to the command prompt. Yeah. So type start space notepad plus plus vagrant file. Notepad plus plus space vagrant file. Vagrant file. Enter. Yes. What you did?
Vagrant file. Vagrant file.
Yes. Did you create? Yes. It asked you yes or no, right? What you did?
Yeah, we pressed E, no.
No. Okay.
That's why it's closed.
Closed. Okay. Try again. Same previous command. Up arrow. Enter. Yeah. Yes. So now we.
Okay. Here it is.
Okay. Please. Now go to the blog page. Copy the content of Vagrant file. Precise 64 will take.
Blog page.
Yeah. Go to the blog page. You have a Logic 12C Essentials page, right? Go to that page. Yeah. Just Control F, Precise 64. Search for the Precise 64. Okay. So there you can find these are the lines, 14 lines. You just copy that and put into the Vagrant file, the Notepad++.
It's 32. This is 60.
64 is at the bottom.
This one.
Yeah, this one. Alright. Save that. Control S. Come back to the command prompt, CMD. So to bring up the Vagrant file, Vagrant Linux box, what you need to do, Vagrant space up. Okay. Vagrant. No, Vagrant. Yeah, enter.
So we allocated 4 GB RAM, right? For this segment, 4096.
Yeah, yeah. So this could give some problem. The share folder we are
The
not
share folder.
corrected. Yeah. So you need to change that share folder directory, which is I have given F colon software. You need to change that to D colon software. Try to create the D colon software folder. Same directory structure should be there. In the D colon software directory, softwares. Yeah. And did you download JDK and free FMW?
FMW.
Save this file first. Control S.
What about the second this part?
Yeah. Aditya, save this file. Control S. Yeah. What is your question?
What is the second part? U01.
That will be in the Linux box.
Okay.
Right? Shared drive. Whatever the path you are mentioned here, D colon software, that will be available in the Linux box where you are going to create. Okay. Right. So now
Again I will run.
again you have to run this one. You have issue with it is not downloaded at all. Connection to
What is
Vashika.
going to download? Okay, fine.
The box it is going to download. Precise 64 box.
Precise 64 is a Linux box.
Box that is already spilled up. So you just copy this Precise 64 and hit in Google, search for it. You will be finding that precise64.box. They might be changing that Hashika cloud where they are placed all the boxes. Dot box. Dot box. Yep. Not coming. Okay. Just Precise 64 search. Vagrant. Just give Vagrant box. The second link you can, okay, this is also fine, I think. The command given is HashiCorp / precise64. So what we have in the Vagrant file, that line you have to check. Yeah, the box is just precise64 we have given. So you just copy that, copy and paste that. Right, save that. And this third line, please comment. Comment hash. Save this file. Yeah. So they might be recently changed that one. Just go back to the CMD and try to bring up. Yeah, no, I think it is downloading.
So there are two doubts.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt is this, that we have created a Vagrant file like this start notepad plus Vagrant file. And then we have just run Vagrant up.
Vagrant up.
But how it is identifying, we have not given any Vagrant file name here. How it is identifying, it is automatically identifying the name of the file wherever we place that.
No, it is not doing automatically. It is connecting to its cloud where the box is available. So they are defined in the cloud, this HashiCorp / precise64. That is the name of the box. As I mentioned, add the box once and you can reuse multiple times. So first time whenever it is connecting, it is downloading the dot box, precise64 dot box.
But how it is identifying this file then? My question is that. With this Vagrant file, as we are running from the same path, you are saying
this is a syntax to use the virtualization. Vagrant file you are given. Suppose in place of Vagrant file you are given Vagrant file 1 or you are given some .txt, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but we need to run it from the same folder.
Same folder where Vagrant file is there. Yeah. So you cannot run from C:, D:, somewhere else, some other directory you cannot run. You have to come to this directory, then only it will work. Vagrant command to bring up the precise64.
And now precise64 is one VirtualBox. It is having Linux.
Ubuntu Linux precise64 flavor.
Ubuntu Linux.
Yes.
It is a Ubuntu version.
Ubuntu flavor. Ubuntu
flavor
is having multiple flavors.
Yeah.
If you are going to see the latest version of Ubuntu is Artful. ARTFUL.
Okay. And our host name of the computer is mydevvibhava.com.
Yeah, mydev.vybhava.com.
Okay. And
IP address will be 192.168.33.100. And you just open one putty terminal also. Did you download it, putty? And I also ask you to copy that software JDK and FMW into software directory. If you are already downloaded, it will be in the downloads folder. Just cut that one, paste into the D: software directory. So this is a software Krishna we are using, FMW 12213.
one is quick and generic.
Yeah, we'll use generic. Yeah, copy both, put into the software folder. And where is the JDK for Linux 64? Tardar ZZ I ask you to download.
JDK.
JDK. There is a top, there is a sixth link. Yeah.
Which one? Linux one or you?
Linux 64 Tardar ZZ, second one. U172 you have to select. Two versions you have, sub versions. JDK 1.8, U71 is the first one, second one is 172 in the bottom side. So latest one is 172.
So you want me to?
Yeah. 172. Linux 64 X64 Tardar ZZ file. So if you are having older Windows machine, then 586. You are having latest, that's why it's 64 bit X64. Okay. So while it is downloading, just see that is it working. The VirtualBox is created in the command prompt. Still okay. I think network is very slow. 28 minutes is too much late. Okay. So while it is doing, I'll switch back to my screen again. We'll talk something and then go back. Okay. So while it takes time, we'll try to understand what are the difference between virtualization and containerization. Okay. So this will give some high level idea about what is this virtualization, and then moving.
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen? Okay. Yeah. So virtualization we are able to do with the VirtualBox, VMware, Parallels. These are the different softwares provides you to uh, create a VirtualBox. On existing Windows machine, you are able to create a Linux box or any Red Hat machine or something like that. Okay, so this VM only 1 minute. Whenever you are going to have the software that this is already downloaded, the box is already available, then it will bring up within 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, so VM will be created in minutes. Allocated memory what you are having, that will be from your Vagrant file or whatever you are defining in the VirtualBox and VMware. So it is harder logic. It is going to be having the boundaries, limitations whenever you are going to create a VirtualBox. Okay. So when you are comparing with the containers, these are all the points you need to understand. So it is going to have isolation. What we are having in the Windows, that is not at all connecting, it is not disturbing anything. The CPU I am using for Windows, that may not use for the Linux, which is I am going to run in the VirtualBox. Okay, so it is completely different. I have 4 CPUs, 4 core CPU I am saying, then 2 cores will be given to the VirtualBox. That 2 cores will be used only for that Linux. It will not be disturbing your Windows machine. Okay, so that is the lowest level isolation we have. If you take the RAM, then the total 8 GB RAM I am having, then 4 GB RAM we are allocated, and this 4 GB will be allocated that VirtualBox, the Linux will be using. Okay, when you are using VirtualBox, there is a possibility of collide of VirtualBoxes. Sometimes it happens corrupting of your VirtualBoxes. It may happen in VMware, it may happen in your Oracle VirtualBox also. And the libraries are not shared here. Once you are installed, one box, just now we just pulled one box. This box is different whenever it is run up. Whenever you set Vagrant up, this is one box. 100 IP address we are going to have. And my dev is the name of that box. If I'm going to create another one, my dev 2, then that will be another box, another memory, another 4 GB RAM will be allocated separately.
So for that, we need to create a Vagrant file again for.
Correct. You need to create a separate directory, and again one more Vagrant file you need to create in a separate directory so that you can bring up another node. Okay, that time it doesn't download from the internet. Now it is showing 28 minutes. That won't be there because it is already there. Box is available in your machine, that will be reusing that one. So
can you please repeat sir, what you are saying? The box is already there.
Yes, in your command prompt just now we have seen that is downloading.
Yeah.
At the end last we are seeing around brackets there, it is giving 0 to 28 minutes something is coming, right? So to download that it is taking first time. So this VirtualBox is created first time, that's why it is taking. Once that box is downloaded to your machine, that box will be reused. But if I am going to use other than Precise 64,
Okay.
CentOS I want, another Linux operating flavor.
Okay.
In that case, we don't use same libraries. Okay, so the kernel is, even though the Linux kernel, it is not going to share libraries in virtualization. Okay, so there are a lot of pictures that will easily shows what is the difference between VM and containerization, but I just put all the points which are really helpful to understand each point.
So one doubt, sir.
Yes.
This virtualization versus containerization.
Huh.
So this VM will this points which you are talking about.
Huh.
This is a benefit of which one? Containerization or virtualization?
Benefits you have both. Each one is having different benefits. Okay. Now, if you are going to see on Windows machine, you want to have a Linux machine. You don't need to reboot. Right. You can just switch window. Just click the mouse, you will go to that one and you can work with that. And so that is the advantage from VirtualBox. But if you come to the containerization, that is much more faster. It is fraction of seconds. If you run one command, docker run, it will be running the container in fraction of seconds, not minutes. Yes. The speed is very, very fast. But difference is just this is minute, that is seconds. Okay, so when you are going to see these containers, it is less memory occupying. Why? Because the core, the base level what you are having, it is not having any extra software layer. Docker is installed and Docker itself takes everything. You don't need to look for the libraries, you don't need to see the shared libraries or operating system level things. So one Linux operating system already there, then other number of containers if you want to create, it will use the same thing on different containers. Okay.
In case of virtualization, you are saying if you are installing Precise 64 and then CentOS,
yeah,
it will be two complete
different libraries.
It will be downloading from
yes, binaries and libraries will be different for each one.
Each one.
Each one.
But if we are using containerization, then they are saying kernel will be as kernel is both.
Like it will use directly the system kernel. One Docker container that directly uses the system kernel and it will start working on top of it. What libraries are required, only different libraries which are there, that will be coming. Okay. So while doing, you will be understanding much more detail about that one. You will be seeing that the fastness and easy to use that one. So this fastest launching time you will be seeing in the containers. You don't find any time taking that things. So app, if you want to have scaling up, if you want to have 10 missions running different managed servers, so that is easy to bring up. Just commands, you need to just say 10, then 10 containers will be created if you use the Kubernetes or clustering softwares. So that is an advantage where you can see containers are much more faster to spin up, bring up. High level isolation, it is going to have completely isolated and it is not going to, just like virtualization, how it is not going to use the CPUs that whatever memory you are going to say, that is completely high level isolated compared with the virtualization. Okay, and it is not going to have any collision. There is a possibility in virtualization they corrupt, but in Docker containers when you are going to create, it doesn't have any problem with one container with another one. There also you can destroy the container, you can remove, you can spin up any number of times, but collision is not possible because that uses the LCX and CG group concepts inside that. So you just read about what is CG group and LXC. Okay. CG group and LXC concepts.
Of containerization.
Yeah, of containerization. This is just history. So the concept came in 2013. 2013 onwards, it is given huge research point there, and we got Docker as a first company. You start using this one. It's a very recent technologies, Docker and other stuff which you are making containers. So container concept is there since long in the Linux kernel when it is created, but how it is expanded. One point is there, one theory is given, that theory is expanded. So that's how it is given much more scope and much faster.
Now only one company is there who is doing this containerized.
No, rocket companies also there. There are other n number of companies, but they are not that popular and that community is not growing. Docker is very fastest growing. So as I mentioned, this libraries and kernel libraries, binaries which you are going to have for virtualization, that will be shared in Docker. So that is the advantage you can get in the Docker. You don't need any hypervisor to run the Docker. In Windows, if you are going to run, you just need to install Docker related software, then it will run directly in number of Docker containers. Okay, so the Docker things we'll see later. But
so what is this hypervisor?
Hypervisor is one of the options. Just whenever you are booting, you are going to say, I want to enable virtualization on this machine. So whatever just now we have seen that the adapter is created dynamically. You have one hard disk will be shared one part for the VirtualBox. You are having the network card will be having same, the hardware is same, but it is going to have multiple virtual machines. Each machine is going to have virtual card. So that is what automatically enabled when you are going to have the hypervisor. Hypervisor is underneath hardware related. Whenever you opt this one, VirtualBox, Vagrant, these options are selected. That is connected to this hypervisor. Hypervisor is available in your Windows kernel. That allows you to run the virtual boxes. Okay. Right. So that is about VirtualBox. How it is going in your mission? What is the status?
50%.
50%. Okay. Any other question, guys? You are on the meeting. I'm not getting your questions. Krishna, Jimmy, Melvin, any questions for me? Yeah, these are the different combos, VMs versus containers. So KVM is Linux-based virtualization. VMware and Oracle VirtualBox, these are going to be running on Windows platforms. Docker container, Rocket container, these are the container softwares which are popular in the current market. Okay, so moving ahead, we try to understand what is middleware architecture for WebLogic. Okay, so in high level, these are the different layers we are having. The front end, back end. In between, our entire WebLogic middleware story goes on. So the front end is most of the customers who are connected, bank customers, e-commerce customers, telecom customers, they are connecting from browser. They are going to use the browser to communicate. So where the software, the program is going to be connected from JSPs or servlets. Java-based programs, there are two different programs, JSPs and servlets, they are going to communicate in the front end layer. So that will be displaying the content, whatever you want to see in the browser, that will be coming as a HTML content. So styling, that colors and all those will be coming from the CSS. Okay, so HTML, CSS, whenever it is displaying, you are going to do some data entry in that one. Whenever you enter your username, password, login, click, then you are doing something. You enter some other details, then you want to get some pop-ups. All this comes from JavaScript. So validating of the data and moving into the text, that two things will be done from the browser level or front end level changes, that will be from the JavaScript. Okay, so after getting the data input, it is going to the presentation layer. This presentation layer structure, it is going to have a load balancer. The load balancer is one machine where you are going to have a Linux machine or some other hardware machine which is going to get the huge HTML loads. So HTTP request, the protocols there depends on your project. People are going to ask you to run HTTP request or HTTPS request. So right now, almost all projects are recommended to use HTTPS. Are you able to? You're not mute, right? Krishna, are you able to hear me? I just got a message. Audio quality is a problem. Krishna, are you with me? Okay, thanks. So presentation layer where we are going to have the load balancer that connects, and then the request, HTTP request, we are going to pass it to the backend, the web servers. Web servers are nothing but HTTP servers. Okay, so HTTP servers, OHS, Apache web server, IIS web server, these are all different types of different companies providing the same servers. So one protocol that is going to be running HTTP protocol. So you want to add on to that to make HTTPS, you should have SSL certificates in that. Okay, so that will be the presentation layer where the HTTP protocol running servers will be there. So the request will be going from the web server that is going to the WebLogic server. So WebLogic server is going to take the request, web request WAR file we are going to deploy. The files which are having extension as WAR, there we are going to have the servlets and JSPs. Okay, so servlets and JSPs are deployed in your presentation layer that are communicating in the backend, business layer. So business layer is having another set of different types of logic servers. There you are going to have the data source configurations, JMS configurations, and enterprise Java beans, message driven beans. So these are all different types of business layers. So why should I have everything? You have front end web logic and back end also web logic. Web server is also accepting, HTTP protocol is accepting, but why should have two layers? To give more security for your project. You don't want to put everything in one thing, or to give more loosely coupled architecture. Easy to communicate. More requests will be hitting to your web application, not business layer. If you take e-commerce example, Amazon page, whatever the display is coming, on that one people are just selecting some of the product, but they are not selecting, then they are moving. So it is not required to connect every time to the database. Okay, so the page display selection process, whatever we are having, that is more and more number of users accessing. So front end needs more number of web servers. Web servers require more. The business logic that connect after selecting, then after 10 minutes they are going to hit shop. You shopping add to cart. Then they are going to pay the amount. That time we need business logic should be executed. That should not be in the directly on the front side of the door. So you want to keep your petty cash and almara inside. Just similar to that, your business logic you want to keep in a most inner side. So one after the other server passing, it will be coming. Then it is going to the last layer, the database layer backend. So data will be stored in the backend database, that may be DB2, IBM servers, or Oracle database, or Oracle rack servers. To provide high availability, we are going to use everywhere clusters. So rack is the best options for the production environments. Okay, so cluster is a requirement in the business layer, cluster is a requirement in presentation layer, cluster is a requirement in the backend. So these are the different sides you are going to look into the middle layer architecture.
So are we going to deploy the WAR file,
Yeah,
which you told, in the business layer also, right?
WAR file is in the presentation layer.
So what
EAR will be, we are going to deploy. Message driven bin we are going to deploy. EJB we are going to deploy in the business layer. EAR, Enterprise Archive.
Okay, Enterprise Archive and message driven and what?
There are three different types of EJBs. Okay, one is session bin, two is entity bin, three is a message driven bin.
Entity bin.
So session bin will maintain the session who is connected to the server in the entire system. And the second thing is entity bin that talks to the database. Not every request need not to be go to the database. So it is going to have a complete connectivity with the database connection objects. So entity beans are going to have a pool of objects which are able to connect, and sometimes you just see that database queries are two types. One is read, another one is read write. So whenever you are going to have a read only, then that is answer will be given from the entity bean itself. You don't need to go to always, the request should not go to the database. So they cache that the request first time whenever it is requested, the data will be pulled up and put into the buffer, and whenever that second request come, and it will be answered from the same. So same query you are asking and again, then what we are going to do, record it and replay it. Same thing will be done from the EJB, entity bean. Okay.
This is entity bean.
Entity bean.
It is going to talk to your database. So coming to this EJB which you have told, the enterprise Java beans.
Yeah.
This will be contained in which file? EAR file. This is a part of EAR file, not a WAR file.
Not a WAR file.
So it's so whenever we say EAR file, they will be one
it's not necessary to be EAR file in the EJB side. EJB can be stored in a jar file also, .jar file. So if you are having enterprise application, you want to have multiple modules. You can have 10 EJBs, entity beans. You can have 10 session beans. You can have MDBs in that, multiple MDBs. So they can have multiple modules and bundle all this together. Then we need EAR. You want only entity beans, you can put into jars. So these options are there. So you can deploy as per your needs, as per your project architecture. So how it is constructed, where you want to send, that depends on the entire application usability.
And sir, this presentation layer. So I'm asking more why, because this is very architecture is
definitely. Sure.
So this presentation layer. So when a users will connect to presentation layer. Correct. So what is this presentation layer? Is the OHS layer, the web tier layer.
Web tier layer, yeah. Presentation is going to have HTTP servers running, and it is going to take the request and pass it to the servlet engines. In WebLogic, we are having a servlet engine. So servlet engine is going to run servlets, execute JSPs. So JSP program is again converted into servlet. Servlet engine will be executing that. So WebLogic is going to have a servlet engine. So what web servers will be doing, what web tier OHS will be doing. Web tier OHS or Apache, all these servers are just take the request, pass it. It's like proxy. So it is a proxy means take the request, pass it to the backend. Why should we have this proxy? Another security layer we are going to have, first point. Second thing is, there are two things whenever you are going to talk with the presentation layer. One is static content, another one is dynamic content. So whenever you are saying, whenever you connect to the Bank of America US account, so the screen, whatever you are seeing, there are a lot of static content. Whatever we are seeing, the labels, text, images, logos, all these are static content that can be served from the web servers. HTTP servers can send. You don't need to go to the WebLogic server. Okay, that is the first point. We are segregating static content and dynamic content. Static content means the file which is present in the server, same thing will go into the browser. That is static. Dynamic content, you are giving Aditya user and password. That entry is correct or not. That is validated at the first browser side. As JavaScript itself tested. The number of password characters. It is not 8. It will throw there itself. The error. If it is given 8 and it is not in the database, that is checked by your servlet. Servlet engine is taking care of that one. Okay. So servlet, when it is working, servlet engine when you want to work, when this HTTP server, Apache, OHS, etc. works. So you understood? Static content, images, that whatever you have in the server as it is, it goes to the browser, that is a static content. That is ICO files, .jpg, PNG files, MP3 files, MP4 files, all these are static content. This can be served from the web server. Okay, HTTP server is web server. The second, WebLogic server, which running the servlet engine, that will be doing dynamic content processing. That is, take the data, get the data from the customer who is entering the browser. That will be validated and routed to the business layer, or it will be processed there itself. That depends on the logic, how it need to work. Okay. So two things we have: static content, dynamic content. Static will be taken care by the proxy server. Dynamic content will be taken care by your WebLogic web server.
WebLogic web server.
Yeah.
My question is actually when putting the request by the request is coming from the HTTP server, right? So some of according to you some of the dynamic content will be resolved by servlet engine itself, the WebLogic.
Yeah.
So how it will resolve? How it communicate the data? Because the data is in your database, right? So what kind of things they can resolve automatically without connecting to database? They need data, so they will go to database and fetch the information, then it will resolve, then it will give to HTTPS to customer. What is the cycle? If I am picking any data from the database,
Okay.
then what is the process? Like we have in the database like a process whenever we are doing something, HTTP is connecting to Java servlet, Java servlet is connecting to server process to collect the data from the database.
So how data is going to be connected in this architecture, you didn't understand. So you are connected to your bank account. Whenever you are connecting to your bank account, what you are going to do? You are opening your login page. Login page is connected. How it is connected, you understood from the static dynamic thing is over. The request is going when you are doing a withdraw. The request is going when you are saying deposit something, or you are adding a beneficiary, right? So that time this account data need to be inserted, read write operations you want to do in the database. You want to do read only, you want to do read write operations. In these two cases, the business layer is going to work. The business layer will take the request and connect to the database connection, and then it is going to do the changes, required changes. Okay, so once that changes are done, the database changes are completely done, then it is going to commit permanently to the database. Again, it is transactional models, etc. we have in deeper level when we look into the data source configurations. We'll talk in detail about data source configuration, how it connects with the web application, WebLogic server, where it connects. Every layer we can connect. Business layer we can connect, presentation layer also we can connect with the database. So which one will work for what? Presentation layer always work with the read only stuff. You don't want to change. That business layer always able to do read and write operation. That anything you want to change, that should come from the business layer. The application which is deployed as a EJB, they can do change, or the application which is having different framework structure. In Java, different framework structures are available that will be connecting to the database and modifying the data. Okay. So you still have some problem?
No, no, we can
I
we'll take it at the time of data source creation.
Definitely. Yeah. So WebLogic is going to have two different layers of clusters we can have in a real-time scenarios. So this is a middleware architecture where the common scenario where banks will work, telecom will work, and e-commerce also works in the similar scenarios. So when you are going to look when WebLogic is going to be installed on every machine, then we are going to run the servers, admin server, managed servers we are going to run. Two types of servers. So admin server will be running at one machine and managed servers will be running on multiple machines. So we can have more number of capacity when you are going to run the managed servers. When you are going to group multiple managed servers, that we are calling as a cluster to provide high availability. So the services which we can run on these different layers, JDBC, JMS, JMX, JTA, all these are the different services which we can have from the business layer. Okay, from the presentation layer, web, only web, HTTP, HTTPS. Okay, so that is about overall high level middleware architecture. The request comes from the browser, ends at the database, and flow will be reversed same way. Okay, so in latest WebLogic 12.2 onwards, we have a new requirement called as a multi-tenancy, as cloud is most commonly used in most of the projects. They are migrating from the on-premises to the cloud. So WebLogic is also enabled with the multi-tenancy capability to provide the cloud infrastructures. So we can have multiple integrations with the SOA and OSP services. That is also part of this WebLogic. So we have three different installers when you are seeing WebLogic page, download page. First one is developer quick installer. Second one is generic, that is WebLogic server, core server it is going to have. Third one is infrastructure. Fusion middleware infrastructure that is capable of integrating with multiple Fusion softwares. There are around 20 plus 27 different products are based with the WebLogic infrastructure, Fusion middleware infrastructure. Without that, you cannot run portal, you cannot run web centers. There are a lot of products in Oracle stack. So base is this one, WebLogic infrastructure, Fusion middleware infrastructure. Okay, so right now what we have Notepad++, Putty, VNC Viewer, that depends on the UI. So mostly we are not using this VNC Viewer and Windows. So the other than this WebLogic software we are having, Java 8 we are using, and VirtualBox Vagrant we are using to bring up virtual box Linux. So Ubuntu we are using. Okay, so Apache web server, Apache HTTP server or Oracle HTTP server, any one of them can work on it. So that is the overall middleware where we are going to work on. And the other side of that, containerization, we can work with the Docker. Oracle database side, Express Edition, we are going to spin up only one box with the database and try to create that Oracle XE database container. So let's see in your system, the 15 minutes I have, okay?
Yeah, it's setting host name. It's downloaded and now it is doing some host name. I think it is creating the virtual box.
Okay, Aditya, let me make you presenter. Anybody else able to install and run that? So, how much time it took for this one? Setting host name. Hmm,
I think 10 minutes back it was asking.
Okay, then put Control C there. Then it is not working as expected. We comment that one host name. The latest version of Vagrant maybe host name is changed. Some of the tag is changed, I think.
Maybe it is creating, sir.
Is it good? Doing process?
Creating host name, no?
It should
Can
not
we see
take.
the log file?
Just enter anything coming, moving.
Nothing. You meant there is some issue?
There could be. Otherwise, you do just go to the putty terminal and try to connect with the 192.168.33.100.
It's IP of that precise 64 dot box, right?
Right.
I see. But how it will connect, sir, from this from my local system? My IP is different, na? It should be inside my IP range.
Yeah, it makes that virtual box, virtual IP address will be created.
Config.
The 198 series is there, right? So
192. This
VirtualBox
VirtualBox
adapter.
host only network.
Hmm.
I think we need to create.
You just stop it and try to comment that the hostname line and then try to create again. Command prompt. Go to command prompt. Control C. Okay. Still waiting. Can you just check that status? Vagrant space status. Vagrant space status. It is showing running. Okay. Vagrant halt. Vagrant space halt.
It's running. So can we try to connect?
It is not connecting, right?
No.
Input terminals.
Yeah, 40 minutes, but get
Okay. Try again. Duplicate. Reconnect.
Setting actually, sir. I do for VM.
I asked you to check that Windows firewall. Is it running? Can you just see? If it is not, yeah. Can you just stop the third one? Change. Turn off. Turn off.
Let's try to open that up now.
Now try again the command.
Okay, but we sit down that Vagrant.
Did you execute it halt? No, right? Yeah. Now try again. Reload. Otherwise.
Okay. Any other method just to see, or we'll be working on PuTTY itself? We cannot go like virtual machine. We can go VM.
No other way.
If we open this, it will not.
Yeah, there you can see.
Running.
Just create a running state. Yeah.
Login. What is the user?
User Vagrant, password Vagrant.
Vagrant. Okay, GUI will not open.
No GUI.
Okay, that means it is there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 120. IP no second. There is no IP for this.
Yeah, that is what there it is stopped, right? There are host name. After the host name, the IP address will be created. So what you can do, just go to the command prompt, just reload it. Vagrant space reload. This is not working.
No matching default, but
I think you need to kill that one. Just close that VirtualBox.
By halt.
The window which you are used, logged in, right? Just log out, close it. Okay, power off. Okay.
Power of the power of the.
Yeah, power off. You don't go. Okay. Now check the status. Okay. Now try to bring up. I think we need to comment that Vagrant hostname didn't do. Let us see.
So which hostname it will take by default?
I think it is not stop there this time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now try to connect with the putty IP address.
Now to give this IP, actually, sir, I know this network configuration because I used to do. We need to give to set our IP address. This.
No, that works. That doesn't have any problem.
Yeah, I think it will not be pingable. See,
I think you need to restart.
ping,
It is
it will
pinging.
not work.
It's working. Yeah, as it requests you to restart, right? Try to restart and reconnect.
So if we restart again, we need to. Okay, restart it. So वो ना जो graphical है वो कहाँ मिला? DevOps का में जाके VirtualBox.
So in the meantime, you have any questions, guys?
Yes, sir. One thing in our environment,
Okay.
we are working for an EBS environment.
Okay.
For EBS Oracle e-business suite, we don't have this kind of architecture which you have explained.
Okay.
What we have generally, we have OHS, okay, as a presentation layer, and then we directly have that business layer,
Okay.
that web logic.
Yeah.
In the between which one there is one more row which we have shown for web logic. So that kind of thing is not there in our environment.
Yeah, e-business is different architecture.
Yeah. So if in a between there is one web logic, how this web logic will be connecting to the business layer web logic? Well, through data source, or how? What is the method they will connect with each other?
In servlet, they will write. Developer will write that code. They will connect to the EJBs and method will be in session beans. So EJB's connection will be taken care by your application. Servlets or EJBs, they will connect. You don't need to do any connections. All are in the same domain, WebLogic domain. You will be having one web cluster, one app cluster. They are going to connect. So web cluster is going to have .war files deployed, and app cluster will be having EAR files, jar files, where EJBs will be running. So that would be happens.
What is the Vagrant? Vagrant.
Have you restarted?
Yes, Vagrant status.
Yeah. So if it is restarted again, try to connect to the meeting and share your screen. Connect to the meeting. So Krishna, Jimmy and Melvin, are you following me? You have any questions? Yeah, Aditya, I'm making you presenter now. Yeah, you're the presenter now. Share your screen. You did the mistake. Where did you create the Vagrant file? Go there.
D.
Just type D column, then go to the CD. DevOps. Similar names, that is a problem. I think Vagrant, you need to check the status first.
What is it?
It's not. Yeah, better you save that IP address, save the session. Yes, connected successfully. Yep. So we are good on this one. So whenever you are connected with the Vagrant, use the Vagrant password. Um, it is able to give you the Ubuntu, the precise 64 Linux.
So default password and this one, Vagrant.
Vagrant user, Vagrant password. Great. So now we want to switch to the super user, root user. Quickly, sudo -i, enter. So you switch to the root user now. Go to the blog and just copy the script. That will give you the user creation steps. Then Virtualization Essentials and the same page. Need to go to the first page. On the right side, click the link, content first link. Yep. Search for user ad, control F, user ad. Okay, so this is a command. What are the commands you need to execute that is given here? All the things are put into one script that is at the bottom. You can just see that bin bash is there at 19 lines code.
This one, vi create.
Yeah,
You can
create that script. Yeah, vi user create. Cool. Yeah, give yeah username. What we are going to use is the Oracle user, and the password here we need to remember. So welcome one. Again re-enter welcome one. It is not matched, right? So user is created, password you enter mismatched, right? So
okay, no problem.
you type password passwd Oracle. Yeah, enter welcome one and again type welcome one. Successful. So open duplicate window of this one and try to do the next steps. So Oracle user password welcome one. Perfect. So this is created the base of what we have in the shared directory U01. You just see that shared directory is containing the JDK and WebLogic. I think you didn't share, you didn't copy that. Yeah, the last one, you app software is there, right? JDK is not copied. Huh? Copied. Okay, cool. So go to home directory, CD enter. Yeah. So from here, we are going to install the JDK. So the file JDK is having tar.gz file. So tar hyphen zxvf. F as file. Okay, now give the path u01 app software slash JDK tab. Yep, enter.
Why we are extracting in the home directory? We can extract.
You can put anywhere where you want to keep this JDK. That's not mandatory to go to home directory.
For JDK, we are setting for your
WebLogic. So basic requirement to install the WebLogic that you must have a JDK.
Java.
Yeah. So now Java is installed, but whenever you type Java version, it doesn't come. You just try, check. So export is required. What you need to export? First you need to export Java home. Not directly doing this.
Export Java home.
First these things we want to keep in a file so that whenever you log into the Oracle user, that should be existing. So what is the best way is go for the bash underscore profile file. Yeah, dot bash underscore profile and yeah, export Java underscore home is equal to what is the home directory? U0 app slash Oracle. java underscore home is equal to paste it, slash jdk. Yeah, just copy that one. That also jdk also you can copy from the scrolling up. Okay, cool. No, no, that's it. Only that is a folder. That is a Java home directory. Where Java is installed, that is a Java home. Okay, go to the next line. Export path is equal to dollar Java home slash bin colon then dollar path. Enter. So, yeah, save it. Now try to execute the bash profile. Yes, so check the Java version. Java hyphen a version. So what we have installed, that is there. So we are good to go for the installation of WebLogic. So we'll do installation of WebLogic tomorrow. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So you will be sharing this particular
Yes.
video to Shailaja will be sharing.
Actually,